Let's bring in California Democratic Congressman Khanna. Here's what I have to say about this, and I was talking to my team this morning. By the way, welcome, and we appreciate you coming on the show. Why wasn't there a calculation on the part of this administration to look at our refining capacity, which is nearly maxed out in this moment, and say, okay, if we're going to release these emergency reserves that we have to buy back and replace eventually anyway, why don't we see how much we can actually refine in a certain period of time into gasoline to bring down prices so that we don't overdo it, have oversupply from our emergency reserves, and then have to end up selling it to China? Why was that not done?
Well, two things. One, we do need to increase short-term the refining capacity. You're right about that. But second, we're exporting 3.44 million barrels of oil every day. Senator Jack Reed and I, months ago, said that we should temporarily ban the export of this oil. I don't understand why we're allowing the oil to be exported to countries like China when we need it here in the United States.
But her point is that the logic doesn't work for the way the system's set up, because the refineries are at near capacity, and you have too much oil on the market.
Well, as you know, we have refining capacity for shale oil. It's less efficient to have the crude oil be refined, but you still can refine it. I think the bigger issue is that we're allowing the export of our oil. I don't get that. Why a country that has a shortage right now of oil is allowing 3.44 million barrels every day to be sold outside. Before 2015, that was not allowed. And if you stopped that, you would have a dramatic decrease in price.
When you say we, you mean the Biden administration, right? Because President Biden had the authority to ban those exports. He did not.
He does. I agree. We called on him, Senator Reed and I, in a letter to him months ago to make that decision. Now, if you want to exempt some of our European allies, I understand that. But certainly we shouldn't be selling oil to China or countries that aren't directly threatened by Putin's war. And I don't understand why we're continuing to do that.
Sir, there's just a few alerts crossing the wires right now. We're seeing it for the first time, so are you. Just want to get your reaction on this. There will be a trip to Saudi Arabia. You're well aware of that. Just confirming by way of John Kirby that the president will meet with the Saudi king and will include the Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. And also Biden expected to raise human rights during the Middle East trip. We'll see how that goes. But this goes right to the point that we're talking about, is that we're going overseas and we're asking the Saudis and OPEC to pump more oil for a job that America used to do better than anyone in the world.
Well, first of all, look, the Crown Prince, as you know, MBS, hacked an American journalist to death, Khashoggi, and there was legitimate bipartisan outrage. The president ran saying he was going to make Saudi Arabia a pariah state, that he was not going to engage MBS. They're still engaged in a brutal war in Yemen. And I don't think that he should go meet with MBS until MBS takes some accountability for the murder of the American journalist and until they bring the war to Yemen to an end. But look at the irony. We're going and begging Saudi Arabia for oil while we're exporting our own oil around the world. I mean, it makes no sense. And the Saudis are going to play us. I have no confidence that the Saudis are going to do something that's actually going to bring prices down in this country.
Congressman, it sounds like you're calling into question your confidence in this administration. I mean, would you chalk this up to another failure and perhaps put you into this group of Democrats that are now loudly speaking up and out against this president and his policies?
No, look, I have confidence in the president. I just said that to the New York Times. I respect him. I still think he's our best bet to defeat Donald Trump. I believe Donald Trump's going to be the nominee. I think he'll destroy DeSantis. We can get into that at a later time. And I think Biden is the best bet to carry the Midwest. But there are places where I disagree, obviously, with the administration on Saudi policy is one of them.
Yeah, I mean, you're 0 for 2 in the conversation we're having on oil, too, obviously, right?
Well, on oil as well. I mean, I don't understand why we aren't having a ban on exports, and I think we have to be more aggressive. You know, I called for buying at the dips and then selling it back to the American public at a low price. I realized then that a few days later, Warren Buffett, he's buying at the dips, except he's not selling it back to the American public. But I do think we have to be doing more. Look, people in my district, They're talking to me about gas prices, about higher food prices. They're talking to me about the airlines getting canceled. I mean, people are not being able to get places. So those are the issues, front and center. I guess when you're a member of Congress, you know, you're in coffee shops, you meet folks. That's what's on people's minds, and we have to make that the priority.
That's a great point.
All right, Congressman.
Sir, thank you for your time, and come back soon, okay?
Thank you.